Okay, it's Monday night, and it's time to finish up this excursion that I've been doing into the LIDAR based on these tutorials I've been watching. So I've been looking at this guy here, and he is Kevin Costello from Pseudomorph
Merge
Geospatial.
all of them into one. So now I have all my...
And I created in this program Cloud Compare. I downloaded from the USGS, which is somewhere. Oh no, I actually used Open Topography. I used Open Topography because as a USF professor with an .edu email, I'm able to get free LIDAR stuff, and I downloaded Pasco County. I'm still in the way here, but I downloaded part of Pasco Land of Lakes, where we are, the Rosebud Continuum, as a point cloud data download, as you can see here in a LAZ format, which is a compressed LIDAR point cloud format. And I also got a DEM in GeoTIFF format. And I went into here and I took that point cloud. I said, I don't care about the return number, the scan direction. I do want classification. Any of these flags, user data, point source ID. I took those and I applied them. Oh, I maybe should have. Wait a minute. Let's do this one more time. Oh, well, okay. So I loaded this up, and there is the Land O'Lakes, and I guess Rosebud is this lake down here. It looks pretty dark, and they're supposed to be under 3D views, or is it plugins or display? There's something that lets us do some kind of false color, which would be nice to have because I can't see anything. So let me go to the guys here.
My data merged into one tile. So I'm still viewing intensity here. I'll just zoom in so you can kind of see what this looks like. I'm zooming in and out using the scroll wheel. Left click will rotate, and right click moves me on the tile. Moves my location that I'm focused on. So I'm just scrolling in, I'm zooming in. And I like intensity because you can kind of see what's going on better than if this were a... you can kind of see some hills in the background, so you can kind of get a 3D sense of what's going on. Let me click another option for you. We go to Edit, Colors, Height Ramp. I'm just going to keep the default. No sense playing with that now. Do OK. So now we have Height Ramp. So this is a lot more fun.
Okay, so we get to Edit, we get to Colors, and we do... Don't give me nothing. Why? Select it maybe? Edit, Colors, yeah. Height Ramp, and it's got its own height ramp default. There, that's cool. So now we can see quite beautifully. Wow, there's Rosebud with all the tree cover. So how neat to have that and see those cypress trees along the lake. And then, so what you're supposed to be able to do with this is to separate the trees and the buildings, because there's the buildings right there. Down there, you're supposed to be able to separate them from the ground. And you can see the lakes showing up as a reflectance down there. So let me just save this. Save project and call it Rosebud Continuum LIDAR. This is from SwiftMud, I guess. And let me put this in the GIS for Climate tutorial, and Pasco Point Cloud. I'll put it in the same folder as I have that. Now, in his example, he did a merge function with a bunch of tiles. I'm just using the one, so I don't need to do that. Let's continue to see where he takes this.
Clear. I feel like you can understand this. We got some highs here that are orange, going down to the blues that are lows. We got some missing areas where we had water. Water is problematic. Data set. This data, just understand for right now, here's a little bit better view. This makes a little more sense visually, that they've already classified this. So what we want to do, each point is given a class. I think it goes 1 through 17 or something like that. the classification for ground is 2. So we want to deforest the earth. We want only ground points. So while I have this selected still, I'm going to scroll down to my properties. And here where it says intensity, I'm going to change that to classification. So now you're displaying the different classifications based on color. So with this still selected, I'm going to go up to max min, filter points by value. So remember me saying that ground points are designated as 2. So I'm going to filter out all the 2s. So I'm going to select rain.
All right, so he's filtering out 2s. So in here, we have something about classify. And where is it? Current steps, intensity. So we're looking at intensity. Go to classification. And then I guess when you do classification is when you can so let's see. So he
Still, I'm going to scroll down to my properties. And here where it says intensity, I'm going to change that to classification. So now you're displaying the different classifications based on color. So with this still selected, I'm going to go up to max min, filter points by value. So remember me saying that ground points are designated as 2. So I'm going to filter out all the 2s. So I'm going to select range of 2 to 2. That will capture only 2s. You can either choose export or split. Not exactly sure what the difference is. I always hit export. One might split them within this folder structure, another one exports it out. Okay, so now this has only the ground points. You can see if I toggle this back on, we have other points that show up. Let me zoom out, maybe it'll be more apparent. Go back to the top view. All right, so I'll toggle this back on. So that's with all the points, and this is just ground.
Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. So we're looking at classification, and interestingly, there's a lot of different bands to this that I don't quite understand. But when we go to the min-max tool, which is supposed to be this one here, and we say the range is going to be 2 to 2, and then export it, then we get it without the trees. You can see that if we put the trees on, we get that. Let's look at it in RGB. So we look at it in intensity, and we look at that one there. Like, I don't know why color scale has gotten the way it is. Scalar field. We'll do it back in RGB. So that's that, and then this is just the ground. Flat as Florida is. But then the trees come in there. We can even, I suppose, I mean, I don't know, I've never done this before, but I imagine that if we were to go to our min, I don't know what the other, when your classification, like, what are the other things? But if I go back to, where did it go? I didn't see the min-max thing. Select it, there it is, min-max. If I split this now from 3 to 31, then I should have everything but the ground. And there it is. So if I take out the ground and yeah, then this is the tree layer and the houses, but you can see that there's no ground underneath, or there shouldn't be, at least in that swab. But if you put back in the ground, then you have the ground. If you take this out, you just have the ground. All right, so that's interesting in what it will enable us to do. Now we've got to turn that into something. So the last part of the tutorial, he says.
So I want just ground. So with this highlighted still, now we're going to save this. We're going to go to File, Save. But since I have this layer selected, that's all I'm going to save. So I'm going to do Save. And we'll go into my folder. And I'm going to say this under LIDAR. These are my original tiles. And we're just going to rename this Merged Classified, because those are the operations we have done on this. We're going to save this in the format LAS. LEZ is the compressed version of an LAS. That's just a common format. That's usually what USGS data comes from, and that's my personal preference for this. There's tons of different formats. Even I usually choose optimal. I don't really care about data. So we're going to select optimal. And it is a very historic district in Missouri. Keep that card and look up this all done with the cloud compare step. Join me in the next video.
Okay, so for the next video, he's going to show how to use it in QGIS. But what I'll do then is I'll take this one and I'll save it. And I'll save it as an LAS, and it'll be Rosebud Round. cloud. To the optimal scale. And then I'm going to do the rosebud tree. Rosebud tree and building cloud. And when we come back together, I will open up QGIS and we'll go through and see how we put this into QGIS. All right, very cool. Cloud compare, what fun. Find you later.